For the third time in 7 years, Colorado voters refused a statewide ballot measure to raise money for the state's public schools. Education advocates wanted to raise $1.6 billion for public schools, many of which are operating at pre-recession funding levels. But as CPR education reporter Jenny Brundin tells us, some local tax increases did pass, and education advocates aren't giving up.
The Amendment 73 request was an uphill battle from the start. Anti-tax sentiment is strong in the Centennial State. When Daniel Elder cast his ballot, he didn't see school children with unmet needs. Instead, he saw government asking for more.
I don't like to put more money or power into the government's hands. A lot of what I see is misrepresentation of tax dollars and the way things are handled, and I feel better to probably just not give them that opportunity.
Amendment 73 supporters say cash-strapped schools have seen none of the fruits of Colorado's economic boom. In fact, state lawmakers have withheld $7.5 billion from schools since 2008. That means larger class sizes, a teacher shortage, and students with unmet academic, emotional, and mental health needs. Superintendent Jan DeLay says her Northern Colorado district is already running a 4-day school week to save money.
We're back to square one with the skinny budget. It just breaks my heart. I'm feeling a fair amount of emotion. The fact that our state doesn't understand that we need to support education.
If 73 had passed, her district planned raises for teachers, new activities to make up for the 5th lost school day, and a few necessary building improvements. Not anymore. Voters said no, even though more than 90% of them would have seen no change in their tax rate.
I think we need to do a better job of explaining how money is spent in schools, because I think a lot of people are confused about that.
Kathy Kipp directs the Poudre School District Board of Education in and around Fort Collins.
Otherwise, we'll continue to be last in the country in competitive wages for teachers. We can't do this to our students. We can't do this to our teachers and our educators. It's not okay.
Kipp collected more than 4,500 signatures to get Amendment 73 on the statewide ballot. But this year, voters were more willing to say yes to local property tax ballot measures for school funding. More than half passed, including Jeffco and Douglas County. The statewide measure would have boosted revenues for all districts, paid for full-day kindergarten, and increased support for high-need students. Proponents acknowledge voters struggle to understand how money is spent in schools. Voter Lakeisha Dapramont says she has grandkids in school and wanted to vote for what would help them.
I don't remember what I did. Whichever one is going to help them. I don't know if I voted for or against. I was so confused on some of them.
Another challenge, the school funding amendment appeared on a crowded ballot and did not get support from top political leaders, including Governor John Hickenlooper. Supporters say the campaign ignited a broad-based movement that has raised public consciousness about school funding. Even opponents are on record saying teachers should be paid more. Lisa Weil directs Great Education Colorado, a major backer of the initiative.
We know that the voters overwhelmingly believe that we have a school funding crisis, and we are going to go as a very strong, united coalition and say to our new legislature and to our new governor that this is an issue that needs to be addressed, and we will be calling on them to be problem solvers.
Those opposed to Amendment 73 say its failure is a good thing. Michael Fields with Colorado Rising Action says the proposal was an overstep, but he agrees on principle that the state has a serious school funding issue.
I think the legislature is going to take a lot of the surplus that we have coming in next year and put it towards education, and I think that's a good thing. But I think the legislature also has a charge through this to address inequality in the funding formula and addressing the fact that not enough pay goes towards teachers.
Field says the campaign did start a conversation. Education leaders say for children and teachers in today's classrooms, it didn't happen fast enough. Jenny Brundin, CPR News.